On the morning of October 31st, 2023, the city of Milan awoke to a scene of utter devastation. Floodwaters raged through the streets, submerging cars, flooding homes, and bringing the city to a standstill. As daylight broke, the true scale of the disaster became clear: the worst flooding in Milan's modern history. Hello and welcome to Unpredictable Planet. In this video, we'll look at how a powerful storm brought chaos and destruction to one of Italy's most important cities overnight, leaving a trail of damage that will take months to repair. We'll see how the floodwaters engulfed entire neighborhoods and crippled infrastructure, and we'll hear first-hand accounts of those caught up in the disaster. Join me as we document the story of the devastating Milan flood of 2023. A city underwater, a population in shock, and a mammoth cleanup operation just beginning. This is a flood that will go down in Italian history. Stay tuned. In the early hours of October 31st, 2023, an extremely powerful storm swept across northern Italy. Milan and the surrounding region of Lombardy bore the brunt as heavy rain and thunderstorms lashed the area. The rainfall was phenomenally intense. In just a few hours, multiple locations recorded over 100 millis of rain. With no time to drain away, the water rapidly accumulated on the streets. By 5 a.m., the first reports came in of flash flooding across Milan. Local rivers, including the Seveso, were rising dangerously high, spilling over their banks in multiple locations. The deluge of water overwhelmed drainage systems and began to pour into suburbs and neighborhoods. In Niguarda, just north of the city center, residents awoke to find the Seveso River had burst its banks. Water levels surged up to 3 meters high, submerging cars and flooding into houses. Further downstream, the working-class zone of Isola was also inundated as the river spilled over. Across Milan, underpasses and tunnels filled rapidly with water, trapping vehicles inside. In one shocking incident, 2 people almost drowned when their car became submerged in a flooded tunnel. Emergency services across the city were inundated with calls for help as waters rose. By noon on October 31st, with heavy rains still falling, officials declared a major flood emergency. 1,500 people were evacuated from a campsite as the Lambro River also threatened to spill over. The area around the historic Naviglio canals was left knee-deep in water. Even Milan's famous cathedral and Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II shopping arcade were flooded.
Il canale è in mezzo al paese, è un fiume in piena.
In nearby Monza, the Lambro River wreaked havoc, with muddy floodwaters up to 1.5 m deep running through the streets. With so much of the city underwater, disaster response teams and volunteers swung into action. The Italian army was deployed to set up emergency accommodation and distribute essential supplies to those displaced by the floods.
Mirau aqui, mirau o meu peu. Põe na capa canossa, per buone de passar. Mirau, mirau che giova. Sì, si vede.
As the rains eased on November 1st, the massive scale of the damage became clear. 2 people had lost their lives, with at least 100 million euros of damage across Lombardy. 400 people were evacuated from a hospital in the worst-hit zone of Niguarda. Cleanup and repairs are estimated to take many months. But Milanese people have already begun the process of rebuilding and recovering from this historic flood. Although the storm caused chaos and destruction,
What's on there?
the community spirit and resilience of this historic city will overcome this disaster. The devastating Milan flood of 2023 will go down in history as one of the city's worst natural disasters. Although the cleanup has begun, the effects will be long-lasting, but the people of Milan have proven their strength and spirit in the face of adversity. This was a dramatic example of how vulnerable even modern cities are to the force of nature. As climate change leads to more extreme weather, we may see more disasters like this, but as Milan recovers, its resilience provides hope for how communities can rally in times of crisis. Thanks for watching.
Questo è un grosso problema, molto grosso. Porta via il negozio qua, adesso porta via macchine e tutto.